Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I want to talk about, I guess, Andrew Lincoln and the Daryl Dixon spinoff. There was some speculation that came out yesterday, or it was like the day before or something like that. Honestly, I like intentionally decided to not do a video on this, but there's just been so much that has come out from it though that like people are really excited about it, and then I see articles posted about it, so I'm like, okay, so I guess this is kind of a big deal. I mean, it's not nothing, I guess you could say, but I don't know, I still don't know if there's anything here, and we'll talk about that. So anyways, before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. The show is returning, or it's not returning, but episode 21 is airing in 4 days from now. Kind of like 3.5 days for everyone who stays up really late Saturday nights. But yeah, I'm very excited for this episode. I do think we're going to learn a lot more details here. I know based off of what Angela Kang and Scott Gimple have said that the last couple episodes, like, I know things pick up and get really intense really fast, and you can kind of see it with where they're going here. I'm not going to talk about episode 20 or anything like that, but if you've watched episode 20, if you watched the trailer for 21, you can kind of see how things could actually get pretty intense, because like, yeah, somehow in the last episode or two, things are supposed to get really chaotic. And I mean, obviously a lot of us are thinking CRM, and I do think that would be the perfect thing here, right? But I mean, we're going to know in the next couple of weeks, right? Like, The Walking Dead is ending in a month tomorrow, so obviously not today, it's October 19th. Tomorrow, October 20th, exactly a month to that day, on November 20th, will be the very last episode of The Walking Dead, which honestly kind of seems like that's a little far away, but I guess we still have 4 weeks left, right, to go. Plus, we're going to have a week off or whatever. So yeah, I guess that does make sense. Whatever. We still have another month here to speculate on how the show's going to end and whatnot. So I might as well just kind of live with it for a bit. So I saw this article here from comicbook.com. I'll leave a link down below if you want to check out the article. And basically, Andrew Lincoln was spotted in France. And I've been seeing a lot of people saying this online yesterday. You know, I think a lot of fans are posting photos and stuff like that online because he was taking photos with fans and whatnot. And yeah, he's actually in Paris, France. There's a lot of ways to look at something like this. He could just be there to be visiting family, right? Like, I mean, and when I say family, I mean like Greg Nicotero and Norman Reedus, because both of them are over there right now, right? Both of them are over there because this Daryl Dixon show is about to start filming here in the next, couple weeks. Like, I know they were saying October at some point, so maybe it's pushed off to like the first week of November, but like you get the point. Like, they're about to start filming this thing right away. And so for Andrew Lincoln to show up out of nowhere, it does make it it's a little interesting, you know, especially because he has this whole new look now. You know, he shaved the beard that he had before. And so it's like, is this the new look that he's going with here? And when I say like, you know, the look that he's going for here, I mean like on the show, like if he were to come back as Rick Grimes on the Daryl Dixon show, not actually the look he's going with in real life, because I don't care about that. But obviously the one thing that everyone's is speculating about right now is, does this mean that Rick Grimes is going to be in the Daryl Dixon show? And I'm just gonna say, I just don't see how there's a possibility. Like, maybe it could happen. I know Norman Reedus has said that, you know, familiar faces will show up here. It's just, my whole thing about it is, how do you have Rick over there in France doing stuff, and then all of a sudden, you know, in America after with Michonne? You know what I mean? It's quite a bit of stuff. Unless you want to come up with some sort of storyline where maybe Rick shows up in the final episode, but Michonne's not there. It's just Rick. And so Rick and Daryl have to go and try to find Michonne. And so maybe that's why they both get, you know, stuck in France. But again, then Rick is there the entire time. Like, what's the point of having a Rick and Michonne spinoff? That just seems like that is way too much. That's not what this is. Now, I think the likely scenario here is, I mean, first of all, he could literally just be there to visit, right? Like Nicotero and Norman Reedus, they're there right now, and I think that it makes sense that like he's super close. And a lot of people who live in the area have been like letting me know that, you know, it's very easy to get from the UK to Paris. It's like a train ride, basically. Like, it's not really that far. People will go there during the day and stuff sometimes. So when I look at it like that, it's like, okay, so if that is the case, then yeah, you know, this is really not that big of a deal. He's probably just going there to visit. Now, I think if he were to be appearing at all, like if there was any way that he could be appearing or being involved in anything, I think it's going to be two things. I think there could be a Rick Grimes scene that is filmed. You know, it could be something so small. It could be something where he's just, I don't know, maybe Daryl finds like some sort of, I don't know, just anything of whatever, like a video of Rick being here, or there was just like something like that, right? Like, I could totally see a scenario where maybe something like that was just filmed or just done like that, right? Like, I don't think that's too unrealistic to think. He could appear in just like one scene, but maybe he's not actually talking with Daryl. It's just video footage of him or this and that. Another scenario I do, I mean, first of all, actually, there could be a flashback scene that they film, right? Or like a hallucination sort of thing. There's a lot of things that they could do here. I mean, to be honest, maybe you even film something where Daryl actually gets really close to Rick. Because remember, I do think the ending here is going to be Daryl going out to find Rick, right? I think The Walking Dead will end that way. So maybe he actually gets pretty close to Rick. Like maybe like right away he's super close, but then he's sort of knocked out, taken to France, and he's trying to figure out what the hell happened there. I think an even more likely scenario is that Andrew Lincoln could be there to direct. You know, I know that's something that he's had interest in before. They've talked about it a lot before. I could see him being there to direct an episode or even shadow direct, right? Just to sort of learn some more stuff, because he did that at one point, I think, during season 10, and then the world kind of paused for a while, so things kind of got messed up a bit. I do think he probably would be involved a lot more with The Walking Dead if it wasn't for that, because I do think he would have, you know, took on a bigger role in terms of like directing and stuff like that with the show and all that. And I can see that being the case. Honestly, I think that's probably the more likely scenario here. If I had to place a bet on anything, it's probably that, because I look at it like this. I mean, like, one, could he be there to visit? Yes, definitely. Most definitely, because Norman Reedus is there, Greg Nicotero's there. Makes sense that maybe you're there to visit. But I mean, you could also pick another time to visit. Like, you don't have to be going right now. Like, it's just, if you're going there, like, I feel like there could be another reason, you know. In terms of actually being in the show, I just think story-wise, it doesn't really make much sense, because, like, where's Michonne then, right? And somehow Rick and Michonne have to reunite. And I know some people will say, well, maybe that show will just explain what happened in between that time up until, you know, the Rick and Daryl are together or whatever in the spinoff, or if he appears apparently in the Walking Dead finale. But you got to remember, Michonne didn't leave that long ago. Like, Michonne probably left, I guess on the show's timeline, it might have been, it's over 6 months for sure. So it's been like 6 months to like a year, probably not even that long, like six to 9 months, I would say, you know? And so I'm like, yeah, she's not going to find him immediately. It's probably going to take some time. So I just don't think that makes much sense at all, especially since we know that the Pacific Republic are out there. So I think when I look at all of it, I think it's probably to direct. I do think that's probably what it is. I think, you know, just to be more involved in that story there. I think it's kind of cool because for Andrew Lincoln, you know, if he is there to direct, I think it would be super cool for him to actually watch Norman Reedus, you know, playing Daryl again, and just to be sort of like in that again, in that atmosphere, right? Because I don't think he's really watched Norman Reedus play Daryl in I mean, years now. Honestly, it's probably been over 4 years now. It's probably been a while, because maybe he was there during the last episode or whatever and he saw some stuff there, but probably not. You know, it's likely been a very, very long time here. There's also been some talk about the Daryl Dixon spinoff official synopsis. I have no idea whether or not this is actually real or not. Like, I legit have no idea, but people are posting it online. And I will say, you know, the synopsis to me doesn't seem like it's that out of the ordinary. You know, like, he actually, like it says official, Daryl Dixon will be thrust into a new adventure overseas, set against the backdrop of a power struggle in France between an evil nationalist leader and an emerging union of hope. Our story follows Daryl's efforts to return home, as well as the relationships he makes along the way. Over the course of this odyssey, Daryl begins to feel conflicted about where he belongs and what matters to him most. Like, even if that's not real, I mean, that basically sounds like what the story is going to be anyways. So that's kind of why I believe it. I do think it's probably, like, I think it's legit. I'm not sure where this came from online. I have no idea. But if the story was a lot like this, you know, that is kind of exciting to think that he would be in France. There is going to be like this nationalist leader. And then I guess there's like this union of hope, and Daryl's probably, you know, a part of that. He's going to meet a lot of other people here. They're going to try to take down this leader. This leader could be, you know, Pacific Republic related. I definitely believe that is likely the case. The Pacific Republic is probably worldwide. Like, that's what I'm assuming, especially after World Beyond. You know, we did see that post-credit scene there. It seemed like there is a connection there. And so I think Daryl, when he's there, you know, I think that last part of the synopsis, when it says he begins to feel conflicted about where he belongs and what matters to him most. So I wonder if he feels like, I should be here to help save these people, or to do something here to actually take down the Pacific Republic. And there's probably a part of him that's like, but I have to get back to my family. I have to go and find Rick, right? So I think there's going to be a lot of that there. And that's kind of what I think that these spinoffs are going to be about, you know, especially the Daryl one anyways. And then the Maggie and Negan one. Like, I think they're going to go out there trying to find Rick. I mean, they could be out there trying to find Annie or Herschel as well. I believe that's going to be their original intentions until they get caught up with some other story. And then we'll watch that story and stuff. We'll meet new characters and stuff, which I think will be fun. You know, you want to flesh it out a little bit more. And I mean, it's not going to matter anyways, because we'll be watching the Rick and Michonne television show as well, right? So watching that at the same time as all of this, like, to me is like, yeah, I'm totally cool with that, because we get Rick back anyways. It's okay if our characters don't get to see Rick yet. As long as we get to see Rick, I'm totally cool with that, which is obviously, that's going to be the case, right? So yeah, anyways, I'm gonna leave it here. Definitely post your thoughts down below. Why do you think Andrew Lincoln is in France? Do you think it's just to visit, or do you think he's actually going to be a part of that show in some way, either directing or I guess acting, like literally being in the show? Post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.